Hey everybody, welcome to the Summer Surge program. This is going to be a 9-week program starting on June 1st and it's going through the end of July. So basically this entire summer. So what I got up here on the board is basically our Bound Performance program, our Bound Endurance program, and our Bound Build program. I'm going to give a brief overview of what we're going to be doing. A lot of this is going to seem very similar to what we've done in the past, which it is, because I found that over the years, especially this time of year in the summertime, slowing things down a little bit, not doing so much strength work, focusing specific days on strength and this specific days on conditioning, tend to help us out more in the long term with members, seeing better gains, and it just gets really hot in the gym. So just doing Metcons every day and really going through the grind can be challenging. So what we're going to do here is go through each and every cycle and go over some of this stuff. The Bound Build is going to be off of some of the stuff that we're going to be doing in classes, but you'll see as we get there. So we have our 9-week program. The goals: build strength, increase conditioning, increase muscle mass, increase performance. Now with performance, this is not necessarily the sport of CrossFit performance. This performance here it's going to help me stay on task and produce better videos for y'all and give them better highlight reels from y'all in the gym. The sport of CrossFit is very demanding on the body. And for those of you that have really, truly tried to be good in the sport of CrossFit at a high level, it's just unsustainable to do that year round. Trust me, I know. We tried doing it for 3 or 4 years nonstop, just beating our bodies into the ground. And I know that if we increase performance in certain areas, and I hate using this word, but it's something that everybody understands, hybrid training, if we can get better just at our conditioning, get stronger, and then we can increase our skills or at least our ability to have skill transfer exercises. That's going to help increase our CrossFit performance later on in the year when we start getting ready for the Open and other competitions for when it matters. If you want to compete in the sport of CrossFit, one thing I always recommend is go compete into the sport of CrossFit. This is training. What we do in class is training. It prepares us for life. It can prepare you for the sport of fitness. It can prepare you for anything. Whatever your goal is, our class structure will do that. But if you want to compete in the sport of CrossFit, then go compete. So here our structure: 3 days a week, strength training. So what's going to be odd weeks will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Even weeks will be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That way we can have a good mix and people that can't come in every day can at least get some of those strength days in. Lower body focus, upper body push-pull, which I always love to do. Have a little Metcon finishes, throw in some CrossFit benchmarks. And we're also going to be doing a lot of sled work and Strongman stuff. Then we have 3 days of conditioning. That will include 1 day of lactate threshold training, like a longer style EMOM or work to rest ratio. And then we'll have longer EMOMs. And then we'll have some interval training, like the traditional 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off. Something really short and intense. We'll have about a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio. And then we'll have 1 day a week where we'll try to move at a slow, intentional pace. That's going to be our zone 2 days. And that might be on machines. It could be with body weight exercises. But it's just coming in, moving at a nice, steady pace. For our lower body focus, we're going to do a front squat, back squat cycle. We're going to do a front squat, back squat cycle. Weeks 1 and 2 is going to be 4 front squats plus 6 back squats. So you'll do your 4 front squats right into the 6 back squats. And we're going to base this off our front squat maxes. Weeks 3 and 4, we're going to do 3 plus 5. Weeks 5 and 6, we're going to do 2 plus 4. Weeks 7 and 8, we're going to do 2 plus 2. And then the last week, we're going to do some heavy singles, maybe even some doubles on that last week. Our accessory work is going to be lunges, a lot of hamstring development. We might throw in some cool exercises that none of us have done, or some of you may have done before, but stuff we don't usually do. And then we have RDLs, glute development, and a lot of single leg work, just like in the lunges. Upper body, I still love the push-pull variation. So any day we do a push, we'll probably do a pull, whether that be a horizontal push with a horizontal pull, vertical push, or vice versa. One with a barbell, one with a dumbbell. We like to mix this up. But we are going to focus in on the bench press and weighted pull-ups specifically. And then we'll be throwing in some dumbbell strict presses, other strict press exercises with some horizontal pulls and a lot of dumbbell unilateral work. What this is going to do, and our goal is to create symmetry, stability, muscular development, and shoulder health. And if you haven't noticed, we got some new crossover symmetries, both with the hip halos and with the upper body. So we'll start using those in our warm-ups and some of those in our cash outs. And remember, our warm-ups are specific for a warm-up. We should be intentional in our warm-ups. A lot of you complain about not being properly warmed up. And then when we go through these warm-ups, these are really good warm-ups, very detailed warm-ups. So if you put your time and effort into those and making all your movements perfect, that's going to be for your betterment and help increase your longevity over your health and fitness journey with you. Now, getting into the bound endurance and bound. Let me rotate this camera over here. There we go. Getting into the bound endurance, we're going to have 2 days of lactate threshold training, 2 days of short sprint interval work, 1 day of zone 2 work, and we're going to be rotating through certain exercises and disciplines. So 1 week you might be running zone 2, 40 minutes at a very low intensity pace. The next week might be rowing, next week might be ski erg and bike. And then we're going to be switching in mixed modal work with our lactate threshold training and sprint interval training. That way, because before, during Hero Month, it was all just a single modality, 5K a day type effort. Now we're changing that up, going back to mixed modal work. For some of you that have some upcoming high rocks races or any other type of endurance events that you want to do this summer, this right here would be really good. Maybe substitute one of these workouts in for these conditioning days here. That way you can keep your strength work and Metcon work high on that side. Then our bound build, we're going to keep the same front squat, back squat cycle in, but we're also going to be adding in some barbell cycling with power snatches and power cleans. And then we're going to also be adding in sumo deadlifts. And I didn't put that over here, but we're also going to have a sumo deadlift strength exercise in our bound performance, bench press. And then for our bound build, we're going to be doing some bodybuilding 2 days a week. And then we're going to have like a strongman style circuit 1 day a week for our bound build cycle. So that's going to be the whole 9-week program. That's the overview. If you got any questions, please reach out. Always here to help. I'm really excited about being able to put all this stuff together and present it to you in a very clear way. And I also have this in more detail in our next blog post, a little bit more specifics on each section. But y'all have a great day. Have a great week. See your names on the leaderboards. You need anything, always here to help out.